Hello guys, happy new year. Welcome to 2022. We did it guys. Now this is the year we have to prioritize our mental health. It is now more important than ever, right? There's so much negativity and division in the world. There's COVID, we've been stuck indoors. We've really been tested. So as it's the new year, there's no better time to set some new intentions, some new habits to get the best out of ourselves. Because at the end of the day, our thoughts about life need to change before our life can change. So let me ask you this one question. What do you do every day for your happiness? What do you do every day to set aside time to work on your happiness? Now, there's probably quite a lot of people thinking, not much, right? But it's the most important thing. We need to live a fulfilled life. And I know time is really difficult. So today, I'm going to go through a few tips that really help me become the best version of myself, the happier version of myself. It doesn't take too much time. It's a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of commitment, and that's such an important thing because it's like a skill, right? If I want to go to the gym and get big muscles and a six-pack, I need to show up, right? I need to put in the time, the commitment to make it work, to get some results. And it's the same with happiness. It's the same with the mindset. We have to set aside time to work on that because it's all about mind, body, and soul. And happiness, it comes from within, which is also why I'm so happy that Seed are sponsoring this video. And look, you guys have heard me talk about them before. They are a daily symbiotic that was designed for systemic benefits beyond your digestive health. And they were the first in the pipeline of clinically studied first generation products. So you can use my code BENJ15. But for now, let's crack on with the first tip. Reflection. Reflection is something that I've only recently started to implement, but it's so important, partly because I forget half the stuff that happens the year before. And if you don't look back on these memories, they could just be lost and gone forever. So that's really important. And also, and I think more importantly, our struggles, our mistakes, the times we were tested, if we don't look back on that, those moments can make us weaker or they can make us stronger. And it's how we look at it, it's how we learn from it, and it's how we grow from it to make us stronger. And that's something that I think is really important. And without reflection, how do we do that? So go through your old photo library, just have a scroll and just take in these moments and ask yourself a few questions. Number one, what was the happiest moment of last year? And then do more of that. For me, it was holding Lennon for the first time. It was seeing Jen flourish as a mother, our family walks, that feeling after my first ice bath, and having a good old dance with friends. And then you can ask yourself, what made you unhappy last year? And then do less of that. So for me, I felt a bit disconnected from some of my friends and family back home in England. So this year, I want to put more effort in. I want to feel more connected because that's such a big value of mine. So without that reflection, you can easily just continue to do the same thing. Create a daily ritual. Now, I totally understand how difficult this can be for so many people, right? To set aside time to work on our happiness. It can feel like a luxury. We've got bills to pay, we've got work, all these things. And I'm fully aware of my privilege to be able to prioritize this stuff. But at the same time, if we're able to set up some non-negotiables we do every day that don't take up much time, some of this stuff we can do while we're at work, breath awareness, mindset, all this stuff that will help us so much. And for example, say you don't have time for exercise, you get 7 hours of sleep a day. If you lose 1 hour of sleep a day and you use that to exercise, you will have more energy, you will have more focus for the week, and you'll be happier, your body, your health, your mind, everything. So there are a few little tips and tricks that I'm gonna go through, show you guys some of my rituals, and then you can decide which ones you like and which ones you hate. Breathwork. Now, breathwork is something that I didn't know what it was about 2 years ago, but learning that if you take control of your breath, you take control of your life. Because if you're able to consciously breathe in every situation, you will win in life. Your body will feel incredible because what happens when you're stressed? You shallow breathe. What happens then? You're getting lack of oxygen. What happens then? Your body goes in fight or flight mode, and that's when the nervous system, all these systems shut down, and that's when you get sick. That's when diseases happen. Every cancerous disease starts from a lack of oxygen. How do you get more oxygen? We've got to deep breathe. Why is it so difficult? Because there's stress. There's so many things that are taking our attention away from our natural being. So basically, our blood is either alkaline or acidic. Most of us have acidic blood, and what that means is the veins are tight, and we have 125,000 miles of cardiovascular veins that are running through us. And when we're shallow breathing, we're not getting enough oxygen. So when our blood's acidic, the veins are tight, it's not flowing properly, so our body's not working properly. So if you deep breathe in the morning, if you get that deep breath in, get that oxygen in, then that alkalines the blood. And then for the rest of the day, your veins have opened up and the blood's flowing through. You feel incredible. Your body feels great. You have so much energy. I'm gonna show you what I do each morning, and Wim Hof. Wim Hof is my absolute hero. So I'll put a couple of links below that you can check him out, and I'll show you now what I do in my morning routine. So I like to lay down, get comfortable, focus my mind, and then I take 30 to 40 deep breaths, really focusing on charging that inhale, getting that oxygen in. Then I exhale and hold my breath for as long as I can. And this is where you feel euphoric. It releases natural DMT chemicals, and because you've stored up oxygen, you're able to hold your breath longer. And this is where it's doing so much good to your nervous system, your inflammation, opening up those veins. It's really alkalizing the body. So I'll do about 3 or 4 sets of that, then I feel incredible. Affirmations. Now I will be honest, before I learned about the science of it, I used to think the idea of looking in the mirror saying, I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm fantastic. I used to think it was weird. I didn't understand what it did. But now when I learn about law of attraction, your thoughts become your reality. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. If you're hard on yourself, life will be hard on you. So if you tell yourself you're not good enough, that's what you're gonna attract. So looking in the mirror or setting aside time each day to just repeat these mantras of I'm loving, I'm kindness, I'm good, I'm willing, I'm driven, all these things that you want to attract, even if you have to fake it till you make it, especially fake it till you make it, because the body and the universe doesn't know the difference between thoughts and reality. So if you say everything's great, I'm driven, I can do this, that is what you're gonna attract. I've been doing it recently every day when I'm in the shower. I sit there and I just think about things I want to attract and tell myself I'm powerful, I'm worthy, all these things. It can feel weird, but I promise you it works. So that's something that I really found such a big difference in my life. Gratitude. Now let me explain why gratitude is one of the best tools we can use to go from a negative feeling to a positive feeling, because science and Einstein tells us that we're all energy, right? Everything is made up of energy, and that cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed, and everything is frequencies. And positive and negative frequencies are completely separate. And law of attraction tells us that our thoughts become our reality. So if we're on that negative frequency, thinking about how life sucks, everything's against me, everything sucks, that's what you're gonna attract. You know what it's like. We have those days where everything just snowballs, this happened and this, just my luck, and then you get caught in this frequency, and it's really hard to get out of that. We've all been there. And when you're feeling like shit, the last thing you wanna do is think about positive things. It's really difficult, right? But one thing you can do is gratitude. And look, I get it. If life isn't great, if you are struggling and it's hard to find gratitude in your own life, look at the trees, look at the birds, go outside. There's so much beauty in the world that we can find gratitude in, and that really, really helps us get into that positive frequency. And something I do with my daily routine, I just write 3 things every day that I'm grateful for, because that gets your mind thinking about something you're grateful for. It gets that habit going, and the more you think gratitude, the more you attract positivity. Nutrition. Now, as I said, happiness comes from within, and that's true of the mind, and it's true of the body. What you put inside your body is so important, because that's fuel for the engine, for the tanks, and nutrition, and knowing what you're putting in there, having clean food, pushing yourself to maybe learn some more recipes so you're cooking healthier food, and maybe reduce your meat intake. It's better for the planet, it's cleaner for your body. It doesn't have to be full vegan or full carnivore. It could be somewhere in the middle, reducing that slightly. As Jen calls herself, a flexitarian, that's fine. So finding what works for you and trying to challenge yourself to really understand what you're putting in your body. Also something that's so important and so overlooked, and it's so valuable to our energy, water. Get yourself a big sippy cup. Look how big this is. But I bring this with me wherever I go, so I've always got water. I've got no excuse. And it's also so important because water reacts to thoughts. We are made up of 70% water, and there's that Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto that did that experiment where he would say positive and negative thoughts to drops of water, freeze them, and this is the outcome. Also, because we can't see what goes inside our body, we've got to trust we're taking the right stuff. And ever since I've been taking Seed Symbiotic, my insides have felt absolutely incredible. And as I was saying, you know, we have over 100,000 miles of cardiovascular system, and Seed Symbiotics really help get down in the nitty gritty. It helps with promoting heart health, it helps with digestion, it helps with easing bloating, constipation, absolutely everything. And out of all the tips I have for you today, this is the easiest one, right? Just pop it in your mouth. It helps maintain health gut barrier function and integrity. It helps your skin. Plus their shipping box was constructed from ecological paper that was made from algae that would otherwise damage fragile marine ecosystems. Plus their monthly refills comes in a home compostable bio-based pouches that keeps oxygen and moisture out. It looks clean, it's biodegradable, it dissolves in water, and it's edible. It's edible. Meditation. Right, meditation is something that, look, you've heard me talk about it a lot, Jen, probably a lot of people, right? And to anyone that doesn't meditate, it's probably quite annoying because it sounds, you're doing nothing, you're just lying down. What's it doing? But I cannot tell you, it's doing so much good. When we have 70,000 thoughts a day, 95% of them are repetitive. We're stressed 70% of the time. There's no room for space. And when that voice in our head is talking all the time, 70,000 thoughts a day, you need space to quieten that voice, because how do you get more information? How do you feel inspired? All creativity, all this good stuff comes when you're at a place of no thought. You know how important it is to be present. You hear everyone talking about it, and this is the best tool to do it. And I know it can feel overwhelming because when you try and meditate, you hear that voice a lot and that puts you off and you don't feel good until you do it for a couple of weeks. Then you feel amazing. So a couple of tricks I like to do. I like to lay down, and then I like to count to 10 with my breath. So 1, 2. So I count to 10, then I'll go back to 0, and that's a really nice way just to be able to get away from your thoughts, but gives you enough focus to not feel distracted. And you've got to go easy on yourself. That voice will start talking to yourself, but what resists persists. So just let it go. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just relax, and after a couple of weeks of doing it, you'll start to feel incredible. Exercise. Look, we all know how important it is to exercise, right? It's so good for our endorphins, it releases serotonin levels, it's good for our heart rate, our mind, our stress, our muscles, everything. But the hardest thing is getting up every day and putting in that work and that commitment. And if you're exercising or doing something you don't enjoy, it's really hard to show up every day. So something I suggest is try and find something you enjoy doing. That could be going on a hike, going on a walk with some friends, some yoga. Like for me this year, my resolution is to do a marathon, and I'm putting it out there now, so I have to do it. It's been on my bucket list forever. I did a half marathon 15 years ago, but I had a bad knee and I kept on telling myself that story that I was never gonna be able to do it. And I think subconsciously, we all tell ourselves these stories to get ourselves out of doing the hard work, to get ourselves out of getting out of our comfort zone, right? And by doing this, I'm setting a goal, I'm working towards it, and also I'm breaking down that limited belief that we all get so stuck in by telling ourselves we can't do something. And look, I want to lead by example. If I'm telling you guys about breath work, about doing this stuff, like, unless I show through action, it's hard to inspire people. So this old man is hopefully going to run a marathon and maybe inspire some of you guys to do something similar. Get out of your comfort zone. Now, this is something that is more important now than ever. With COVID that's happened, we've all been stuck indoors, and if we weren't an introvert before, most of us are now, right? And you know what it's like, you're trying to get out and socialize again or feel like a normal human again, and it's difficult because we've been stuck indoors and in some respects being in a certain comfort zone. And fear is such a dangerous part of our humanity, because when I talk about frequencies, right? Positive is love, negative is fear, and fear is so damaging because fear is us needing to be in control of life, needing to be in control of our surroundings, of our environment, but that's not possible. The natural ups and downs of life happen, and it's how we react to that. It's not what happens in life, it's how we react. And if we're living in fear, worried about everything, it's so difficult to jump out of that. And look, I know it's difficult just to say, let's get positive, let's not worry about fear. So how do we do that? We have to make little steps to get out of our comfort zone. Like for example, let's say one of your dreams is to do a TED Talks, but you have crippling anxiety about public speaking, right? The idea of being on stage, being so vulnerable in front of so many people, there's so much fear. So what do? We avoid it, we stay in our comfort zone, we don't do it. So how can we get out of that? Maybe join a public speaking class and be with other people with the same fears that are all working towards breaking out of that. And as you do those baby steps, it becomes easier and easier. And that feeling when you fulfill it and get out of that fear, there is no better feeling. Like for me, I was scared of the cold, the ocean, getting in that cold water, it terrified me. So my next tip is gonna change that. Cold therapy. Look, just hear me out, all right? I can already feel the resistance through the screen, but I promise you there's nothing more effective for the mind, for the body, for depression, for everything than cold therapy. Because look, we live in a fragilistic society where if we get cold, we put the heater on, we put a sweater on, we're not getting in touch with nature anymore. And if we go towards cold, we adapt to it, we tell our body we wanna be there, we can't breathe, our body gets used to that. So we go towards the cold, it can't come towards us. If we create self-induced stress and we control it, then when exterior stress in our environment happens, our body, our reactions know how to deal with it. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important. It gives us 300% more dopamine, it has receptors creating over 500% more adrenaline, so we feel absolutely incredible. And look, you don't have to jump straight in an ice bath. There's baby steps you can do. You can have a warm shower, end the last 10 seconds on cold. A few days later, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, gradually build from there. So what I do, I like to get in a cold plunge every day. You want it about 60 Fahrenheit or below. Mine's around 50, so that's definitely cold enough. So I set my mind, I get in, and my only focus is to calm my breath. Because my body's on fight or flight, it wants to get out, but if I calm breathe, extend that exhale, it slows the heart rate, it tells your body you want to be there, and after about 45 seconds, it becomes euphoric. You feel warm inside, and when you get out, you feel incredible, you feel energized, and your day is going to be incredible. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't think you have to do all of these. These are some tips that can hopefully help you, but please let me know what resolutions you have, what intentions you have for this year, because again, I want this platform to be somewhere we can inspire each other to be the best versions of ourselves. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Seed for sponsoring this video. If you guys are interested, go get 15% off your first month's supply of Seed's Daily Symbiotic by using my code BenJ15. Link is in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely new year, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.